Good afternoon. We're doing our video project for FSE 101, talking about some general safety requirements with Richmond Fire Marshal Mark McFerrin. Mark's been gracious enough to share some of his knowledge with us and some of his experiences dealing with the NFPA 1 codes. Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm on my 15th year here at the Richmond Fire Department. I started off on the truck, kind of got interested in the code part of it, thought it was a different aspect of the fire department to get into. Really enjoyed doing that because it's a little bit different than just the day-to-day activities of a fire department.
Okay.
But I was on the truck for actually only about 4 years, and I've been a fire marshal here since 2004.
What are some of the biggest obstacles that you faced being the fire marshal here?
It's just getting people comfortable with fire code, of what they need to do and how they need to go about it. Because I don't mind to explain, to go the extra mile and explain to them why they have to do this. You got to know a little history, what's happened in our country, our state, our county, our city, or whatever. What's going on there. So just it's the biggest obstacle is educating people and letting them understand why that we have to do what we have to do to be safe in a building.
Okay. What's the most common code violations you see in your line of work?
Well, I like I tell our guys when we're doing training, I can just about walk in any building and write some code violations every time.
Okay.
There'll be exit signs out. It's supposed to be illuminated. They'll be out. Emergency lighting that doesn't work. One thing that's real that I've ran into, it seems like the last few years, money is tied on everybody.
Right.
So, it costs to get these sprinkler systems inspected and fire alarm systems inspected. And some fire alarm systems, after they get so old, there's just only so much they can do with them, and they may have to replace that completely. That's one of the largest obstacles is getting people to comply with their sprinkler and their fire alarm stuff, because that's one of the major expenses in a building. Well, the state adopts the fire code. The state legislature adopts the fire code, and even though NFPA updates pretty often, they still, the Kentucky only adopts 2012. We went from 2006 to 2012. They usually do it they skip a year usually when they do the updates.
Okay.
And the legislature is the one that actually adopts the fire code, and they have a Kentucky Standards of Safety, which also it actually kind of changes the fire code a little bit for specifics in Kentucky. So they're responsible for updating those. And then, like we have extended jurisdiction in Richmond. So our city commission is responsible for adopting the fire code as the state does.
Okay. Mark, if you don't mind, talk to us a little bit about emergency action plans. What are the most important parts of them, and just what are they?
Well, an emergency action plan is basically how I'm in this building. How am I going to get out?
Okay.
So you want to have them posted. We'll use hotels as an example.
Okay.
A lot of transient people come in hotels. On the back of each door, there should be an emergency action plan, a plan that they can get out, that they can follow, what to do if there's a fire alarm. Now, granted, I don't expect people to stop and look at those when they hear the fire alarm go off, but they're there for guidance as we need them. So it's basically, the structure is the secondary part. Basically, we want to concentrate on lives. We want to save lives. We don't want lives lost. We don't want people lost. You can't replace them. You can replace the building.
Right.
So we want people to be able to get out. And that's the biggest part of emergency action plan.
If I was to go into a building and see a potential code violation or a hazard or issue, how would I go about reporting that?
Well, we actually kind of go through our building codes department because they have a form. And we do have property maintenance within the city of Richmond. They've got that adopted through the IBC, International Building Code. They've got property maintenance. So that kind of helps me to a degree. And, you have to have cooperation between those two departments because we do work close together. So they would make an official complaint. And
do you have a good working relationship with the building code enforcements?
Excellent. Excellent. Even though the code's kind of different. Building code goes by IBC, which is International Building Code. We go by, the fire code is NFPA. it doesn't always match. Sometimes me and the building inspector will stand on a premises and argue about something. But we're very friendly about it, and we'll come to a good agreement, and I usually win because the building, after it has a certificate of occupancy, it's my building.
Okay.
So I can make the decisions then. And if I have to, and I'll tell the builder, I say, you know, even though he's telling you don't have to do that, when I come back here, you know, you're going to have to put that in because it's in my code, and I believe it to be something that's valid.